Hi everyone, Joyce here again with Empath Thriving. So today I just want to kind of come on here and pop in a little bit to talk to you guys a little bit more about fears, which also right now empaths are really feeling the energies of a lot of different things. We got a lot of stuff going on that's throwing a lot of emotions out there that haven't been there before. Parts of the reasons why are: one, we've got a huge spiritual transitioning and awakening happening on a global level, which is also then stirring up a whole lot of energies and emotions and fears and disbeliefs, and people just having the COVID-19 virus came along and helped with that. Now we've got here in the US a bunch of riots and stuff that have started happening on the tail end of that. So lots of different issues going on around the globe that are creating a whole lot of added layers to our lives and our situations. So, and as you guys know, for those who have been watching my channel, you guys know and understand that something that I've been very passionate about recently and been talking a whole lot about has been fear. In fact, I just recently finished doing a 7-day course, free course on my Facebook group regarding fear and helping people to overcome fear. And right now I'm in the process of taking all of that and turning it into a full course to help people with overcoming fear. Because, for one, in all of the studies and the research that I've been doing relating to fear, I've started seeing that a lot of the things that hold us back in life, regardless of being empathic or not, have to do with us allowing ourselves to be submerged into constant fear-based thinking modes, which, as you know from past posts and videos that I've shared, happen to have a lot of different negative consequences to our health alone, and also to the way we think and the way we view life in general. For one, it lowers our immune system, so it helps to make us more susceptible to different types of diseases and illnesses, thereby literally making us sick. So for people that are worried about getting sick and dying, especially from the COVID epidemic, part of helping to improve your immune system is to break past your fears. Literally, start learning to decompress from the fears that are going on. If you want to improve your health and your chances of not catching any illness, period, then that's what we need to do. Secondly, is that it also starts over time when we're living in constant heightened states of fear, is that it starts over time affecting our cardiovascular systems, causes gastrointestinal problems such as ulcers and irritable bowel syndrome, to name just a few. Fatigue. It also leads to PTSD and depression. Living with anxiety. The other thing is that when we're living in a life from a constant fight or flight mode, we also end up running the risk of, over time, ending up causing damage to different parts of our brain, such as the hippocampus. And when that happens, it starts to end up impacting our ability to think rationally and logically, It will also start giving us a false sense and precept, which honestly the media doesn't help these days with, that the world is a very horrible and dangerous place. And when we start having these fear-based thoughts and thinking, what ends up happening is that we can start rejecting things that go against the fear-based beliefs that we're holding within ourselves, to one, stir up a lot of hate and divide, because people start tearing at each other for all kinds of different disagreements that we have that really shouldn't exist, and probably likely wouldn't exist if we weren't all immersed in living in fear all of the time. But also it takes, and it'll make it to where you will reject things that are true simply because they don't support, and they knock out the legs of the table, if you will, that support your belief for your reason on why you view the world the way you do, or yourself the way you do, for that matter, or other people, so you start finding and running into experiences. And again, this kind of goes towards and leans towards the whole thing of the law of attraction and how it works. So when you start thinking about things from a negative standpoint, you're going to start finding evidence to support those negative standpoints and beliefs. Whereas when we shift our minds and start focusing more on the positive things and the good things in life, we start being able to find more evidence and proof to support those good and positive things in our lives. So that's one of the real main big things on why we need to not be allowing ourselves to live in that constant state of fear all the time. And so some of the top yogis and people out there these days, they will tell you one thing that's in common. And believe me, I know, because I've listened to over 100 different motivational speakers, from Jack Canfield to Prince EA to Peter Vargas. I'm listening to stuff with Tony Robbins right now. And one of the things that all of these people try to tell people, when you want to create real change and lasting change in your life, and you want to start being able to feel happier, more successful in life, you have to turn off the media. You have to get away from the media, because while we're constantly immersing ourselves and consuming ourselves in things that do not help us, it makes it a lot harder for us to be able to see the value and the good that we have, not only inside of ourselves, and to be able to rise to our truest greatness and highest potential, but it also impacts the way we view other people, and thereby creates more problems than it solves them. So and gives us a lot more misconceptions about life to have to weed out and work through, to be able to get past everything that we need to change in our life. Secondly is that you're not ever going to really change much about your life and your situation if you're not willing to, first put in the effort and the work to do it. We have to be willing to work and do that. We have to be able to recognize negative patterns and systems in our lives, to be able to stop them and replace them with more positive mindsets and values and beliefs and morals and ethics about ourselves, the world in general, so that we can become more in line with stuff. Also, gratitude is huge, and so we have to start being grateful for the things that we do have already now, and practice mindfulness and be aware of the things that were going on. But we have to also learn to, instead of dealing with things that are outside of our sphere of control, narrowing it and bringing it into being things that we can control. So we can't control what other people are doing or thinking out there, but inside of us ourselves, we can start doing things to be the change that we want to see in the world. We can start getting clear on the vision of the person that we want to become and start putting that person out there for people. And change for the world in at large starts with each of us on an individual level and basis. Now, the other thing is that these gurus and stuff, they don't, the reason why they're more, seem to be more susceptible and more in alignment to goals and dreams and appear to have better opportunities than other people is because of their mindset. They don't allow fear to hold them back. Yes, fear is always present in our lives, and there's always going to be an element of that showing up somewhere. But it's how we choose to deal with that on what makes us and what breaks us. So, when we are allowing fear to control us, it's going to start making us have those doubts about ourselves that, oh, I can't do that. I can't, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. Well, it might have worked for that person, but it's not going to work for me. We're negating ourselves and we're pushing ourselves further away from the energies that align us with the universe to be able to create the goals and live up to that greatness that every one of us has inside of us. So we have to, and we're never going to reach enlightenment as long as we're allowing ourselves to continue to immerse ourselves into toxic habits and toxic traits that help us to create fear. Because part of getting to enlightenment is learning how to have that spirit of love and unconditional love. And you have to be able to first have that unconditional love inside of yourself before you can start radiating it out to other people and changing other people. So it's a cause and effect thing. You know, if we want love, we have to receive it. And it's literally every single religion on the planet talks about how we need to be mindful of our thoughts, to be careful of what things that we think. And there's a reason for that. Just like the sages and people that I've listened to, is because when we're allowing ourselves to be consumed by the negative, it distracts us from the things that we need to be doing in life that will actually make changes in ourselves and people. When we're worrying about outside influences, we can't cultivate those spirits of unconditional love inside of ourselves, because we're not doing the internal work that we need to let go of the negative thought processes that cause us to not be able to have it. We can't have fear and unconditional love. They can't exist in the same realm and scope. They are opposite ends of the spectrum, and so you can't have both. So you have to choose which one is more beneficial to you. Is it going to be the fear, or is it going to be the unconditional love and peace and happiness? So all of the positive things, there's always an opposite and equal reaction to them. And the universe itself doesn't understand the difference between us saying, no, I don't want this, and yes, I want this. No and yes. There is no and yes. It's just like when you're saying, oh, I always fail. I never get anything right. The universe is saying, okay, well, there you go. I guess here's another failure for you. Or, oh, I'm so poor. Money is, you have to work hard for money. You have to, I just can't ever do it. I'm never going to be able to do it. All I get are bills. when you're thinking about that, then sure, the universe is going to say, okay, here you go, you have more bills. But when you start being grateful for the things that you have right now, and you start getting clear on what you want in life, and you start focusing on those things, and you have that vision inside of you and in your head, then you're going to automatically start aligning yourself more and more with the universal powers and energies that are out there. And they're going to start supporting you, and doors are going to start opening where you didn't see them before. So a lot of our life is has a lot to do with perspective and how we view things. And so if we're not liking the viewpoint, then we have to change it. Simple as that. And the only people that can change it is ourselves. We can't expect somebody else to give us happiness unless we have it inside of ourselves. We can't expect somebody else to love us if we don't first love ourselves. And really, all of those things will keep us, until we start realizing them, like I said, will keep us from rising, and it'll keep us from those reaching enlightenment. It'll keep us from being as successful as we want to be. It'll impact our business, our health, you name it. It's pervasive, and it's like a cancer that grows, and it's everywhere. And so until we realize those things, we're not ever going to be able to reach our full potential. And this is about reaching our full potential, guys. And you can't be mindful and practice mindfulness and being grateful for the things you have in your life if you're constantly still turning around and then consuming negative. So when you're still consuming negative, you end up subconsciously programming. And so your 90% of our lives is based on, and actions that we have come from our subconscious thoughts. And that's scientifically proven now at this point. It's not our rational waking thoughts that control most of our reactions in our lives. It's those hidden subconscious ones. So most of our life, it's as easy as the ABCs are to us, and as programmed into us as those are, and rattling them off, or numbers and counting. So, but also because it's a program that we've been programmed into, we also can reprogram ourselves, but we have to be aware of the programming before we can start deprogramming. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys right now today, and check out the links below for more information. And please like, share, and subscribe if you got any value from this, or you know anybody else that might be able to get some value from it. And also feel free to look me up on Facebook at Empath Thriving by Joyce. And we will see you again in our next video.